Yo, what's going on YouTube, and welcome back to another Destiny video. So, I said to you guys yesterday in the weekly update video I put out that today Bungie would be dropping another surprise. They didn't say what it was, so I was speculating as to what I thought it might have been, but what it actually is a gameplay trailer for the House of Wolves. You may remember back when the Dark Below came out, they released a series of videos and then they dropped one big one where you kind of speak to the team and you kind of speak about different aspects of the game, and it pretty much summarises the entire DLC package. Well, that has just dropped and it's got a load of cool things in it. The video is about 5 minutes itself, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to play through the trailer and stop at key moments and talk about the things you want to know about. If you do want to see the entire trailer without me talking over the top, then I'll leave a link to it in the description box down below, and it links to Destiny's official YouTube channel. So it's probably worth you checking that one out before you see this video, but in the event that you have seen it, let's get started.
When we rose to crush the fallen, it was I who showed them mercy.
House of Wolves starts with a betrayal. The House of Wolves have risen up against the Queen and attacked her guards. And now the Queen is deciding to make a change to open up the reef for all Guardians to come and collect bounty.
Now, they will feel my wrath.
Attention Guardians, this is Petra Venge of the Awoken Royal Guard.
Throughout the story, Petra, she's the voice for the Queen. She'll be sending you on the main story missions to hunt down the main bad guy.
So, first up, this right here, there was a picture that dropped earlier this week of this kind of like angry looking fallen guy with what looks like kind of crazy teeth where he probably needs to go to the dentist, but that, my friend, is Skolas, who was the leader of the House of Wolves and obviously the one that kind of led the rebellion. So, that is our look at him, and he's obviously kind of got an army in front of him, and this is obviously part of the story missions. We are going to have to go up against Skolas, and it looks like he is wielding the Lord of Wolves exotic shotgun.
Guy, Skolas.
I'm the Queen's blade. Your hunt begins with me.
Rather than just have the one story character, we introduce a whole new area, the social space of the reef.
Take a walk around. You'll find some interesting allies here.
There are multiple different characters in there, each with their own perspective.
I can help you find the wolves.
You just have to go to the reef and see new quest givers. That's a really interesting way to both expand the universe and tell a compelling story.
Now next up, this is another look at Skolas. Now this is set on Venus. It's probably during one of these story missions, and I imagine it'll work in a similar way to how it does in The Strike, where you fight, say, the boss, at numerous different occasions, so I imagine you would do the same with Skolas. At the end of the scene, he flees away, but it's not the last time we'll see him in the trailer.
The team really wanted to explore more activities for the player, new weapons, armor, and gear to earn.
House of Wolves.
Then next up, this right here, this is the top of the Vex Citadel. Now up until now, this place has been inaccessible in Destiny unless you do some fancy glitch jumping, and it has actually had a makeover. It used to look quite a bit darker and distinctly different, but now it's a lot more open with lots of floating Vex style platforms. You can clearly see here, this is going to be an epic battle. He's got servitors either side, Ketch is behind him, he is clearly leading a very big army. But I would imagine that this is probably the climax of the story, and this is probably where it all ends. Probably take down Skolas here, or maybe he flees, who knows. Either way, I would imagine this is where it all ends.
House of Wolves will stand forever.
Once you've completed the story, the Prison of Elders opens up to you, and Arekkz is your guide through that.
It's a gladiator arena inside this prison where the most nefarious criminals in the universe.
Next up, this is really interesting. This is a Vex boss in the Prison of Elders. Now up until now, I played the Prison of Elders when I was at Bungie, and I fought a Cabal boss and a Hive boss, and everyone else we played with had the same encounters. And similarly, during the live stream this week, we didn't actually get a look at the Vex areas. So this right here is clearly one of the Vex bosses. The bosses in the Prison of Elders always come out these circular kind of capsules, or I guess they're prison cells, and you then have to fight them from there. So this is our first look at a Vex boss.
Criminals in the universe live.
The arena is all about getting straight to the action. You can matchmake into it using all of your weapons and all of your skills.
Fight, kill, survive.
You want to ratchet up the difficulty to an ultra hard difficulty mode.
Then if I pause it here, you get a look at the Vex arena. Again, this is one of the rooms that I have yet to see. I've seen the Fallen room, the Cabal room, and the Hive room, but I have yet to actually enter the Vex room. So you can see it's kind of like littered with a load of different Vex gates and all the different kind of portals you would come to associate with the Vex.
Difficulty mode, then you need to form a fire team, and the rewards of course ratchet up as well.
We have Brother Vance,
who is a vendor specifically for the Trials of Osiris.
The wolves will test them, make them ready for the trials.
Trials of Osiris provides the PvP endgame experience, so players can go up against the best in the world and get rewarded with the best gear. The elimination game type is probably the most intense game type we have in Destiny right now. You bring your pre-made fire team, it's 3v3, no respawns, so you're trying to wipe out the enemy team. When they're all dead, round's over.
So there's 3 new PvP maps in House of Wolves: Black Shield, Widow's Court, and Thieves' Den. Black Shield takes place on Phobos, one of Mars's moons. It's an abandoned Cabal outpost. It tends to play really well for control and also nicely for skirmishing.
Widow's Court is an asymmetrical map that takes place in the European Dead Zone, and it features long sniper lines as well as close quarters battles.
Now, this next bit here, this is really interesting. I want to draw your attention to the gun that the player is wielding. That is the Lord of Wolves shotgun. It's an exotic shotgun coming to Destiny in the House of Wolves, and as it currently stands, from what we know, unless of course it's changed, it carries the following 2 perks. Firstly, hip fire. This weapon has bonus accuracy whilst firing from the hip, and secondly, Devil's Touch. Stacking rapid hits has the chance to set your target on fire. Now, we've seen this weapon from a few different angles, but we've never actually seen it down the barrel, and it does look flipping awesome. I really do want this. I'm not normally a shotgun user, not normally a massive fan of shotguns, but this I definitely want.
Thieves' Den takes place in an abandoned, fallen outpost in an active volcano. The really interesting part is the center of the map that you end up fighting on and around quite a bit because it's the focal point and the midline.
The new strike is called the Shadow Thief, and it takes place on the fallen Ketch on the moon.
Tracking another fallen captain who's gone rogue. You meet him several times and he taunts you up. So it's not just about waves of enemies, it's not just about one culminating boss battle.
A lot of people want to take their Fatebringer or their weapons or gear from the Vault of Glass or Crota's End, and they want to still use it. So all legendary gear, weapons, armor can be brought up to level 34.
Then next up, we get a shot at the 3 endgame armor sets side by side. I know there are technically more now that you have the Trials of Osiris and Iron Banner, but from left to right you have Crota's End Raid, Prison of Elders, and the Vault of Glass. This obviously goes to illustrate that you can now ascend whatever gear you want provided it is legendary, and you can bring it up to the level cap of 34, meaning all your favourite legendary gear is now viable. Then pulling your attention to this, there was a screenshot that turned up probably a couple of weeks back now of the back of this particular vehicle in question. We weren't too sure what it was at the time, but it does just look like a slightly fancy, slightly more amped up coloured pike. I imagine, given that you don't use this during the strike, that this is tied to one of these story missions.
House of Wolves offers players tons of...
Then if I pause again here, you get to see the Lord of Wolves from the front instead, and you can see it has a pretty crazy front to it. It's got flames emanating from the front, and it does look pretty damn ominous.
Of new variety, new guns.
Then if I pause on this shot here, there's quite a lot to look at. Firstly, this hunter is wearing the helmet, the chest, the cape, and the legs from the Prison of Elders, but the gauntlet he is wearing is the exotic gauntlet called Ikahiga's Hooks, which has a perk whereby if you hit your enemy, whilst invisible with a melee attack, you will deal damage over time. Think of it like a poison or a venom from stealth. That is the exotic gauntlet I am super excited for, and that's the one I'm super looking forward to, and that's something I definitely want to build a set around. On top of that, on his back he has the rocket launcher from the Prison of Elders, and it looks like he's also wielding the sniper rifle from the Prison of Elders. Lots of cool stuff in one shot.
Guns, new gear is really important, we want new exotics out.
And then let me stop on this. If you saw the live stream this week, or you saw the video I put up of the Vestian Dynasty, you will know that Bungie have introduced a new weapon type to Destiny, the sidearm. Now the only one we've seen so far is the Vestian Dynasty, which is a legendary sidearm that deals arc damage and supposedly has a perk that is good for dealing with Fallen. This, however, is called the Dreg's Promise. It is an exotic sidearm, and up until now people have been wondering what the exact exotic list is. We have the Lord of Wolves shotgun, we now know we have the Dreg's Promise, but also if I step back a few frames to when they're looking through the inventory, you'll see that next to the Lord of Wolves shotgun and the Dreg's Promise there is also another exotic item. Also a secondary, and that is the Fallen Wire Rifle. I don't know the exact name of it, nor do I know the perks just yet, but from what we've seen, that is the Wire Rifle, which is the same sniper rifle that the Fallen Vandals use. Exciting stuff. And if I jump forward again back to the Dreg's Promise, while we don't actually get a look at the key perks, one thing we do get to look at is this perk on the left, Reserve Ammo. It says this weapon always has ammo on respawn. That is extremely powerful. Provided that sidearms are actually good in the Crucible, that means every time you respawn you'll have full special ammo. And again, that also applies to PvE. That's going to be really interesting.
Queen's Wrath is returning.
And if we then pause on the next shot, we get to see all three of these weapons close up. The Titan in the centre is wielding the Lord of Wolves shotgun, the Hunter on the right is wielding the Wire Rifle, and the Warlock on the left is wielding the Dreg's Promise sidearm. So it looks like those are your exotics.
Fallen themed stuff, Cyrus themed stuff.
Great thing about Destiny is it doesn't stop with House of Wolves. You're building this character that is going to persist into the future.
Let the hunt begin.
And that, my friends, is it. That is the end of the trailer, and that is it for my breakdown. There's probably a hell of a lot of stuff I missed and a hell of a lot of stuff I haven't covered, and I am going to be going back through this trailer with a fine-tooth comb trying to pick out anything I may have missed. So expect some more videos to follow up over the coming days where I talk about some more things in depth. But for the time being, that was a quick look, a quick breakdown on some of the key things you may have missed when playing through the very first time. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Do let me know in the comments down below if you saw anything really awesome that I did miss, because it'd be really cool to kind of see what you guys saw. But aside from that, thank you very much for watching. Take it easy. Catch you next time. Peace out.
Good to have you back, Hunter.